Open your heart again, everyone. It's Deep Dive Zone, a Sonic review series for fans of all shapes and sizes. I'm your host, Devin, joined as always by my buddies Lauren and Bruce, and today we are finishing off the Archie Comics adaptation of Sonic Adventure.
Thank God. This has been kind of a nightmare.
It's really hard to keep track of. Last episode was pretty
Yeah.
long, and maybe that's just because it was our first time back, but I also think it's because there's a lot of, little weird details to cover.
Yeah, that's a good description of what's really going on.
Always
But,
the devil's in the details.
Yeah. We're starting here with Sonic the Hedgehog number 83, and hey, that's Perfect Chaos.
Finally.
It's okay. Sonic Tails' faces look all weird here, but maybe it's just because of the angle.
Don't worry about
I
it.
think they look fine.
They're a little. I feel like they're a little too round.
It's not that bad. Again,
No.
we've seen what other artists than Spaziant have done in this
Yeah,
arc, so I'm not going to complain.
Yeah.
We're starting with our first story here, which is called Menace to Society, written by Carl Ballers and drawn by Stephen Butler. Sonic and friends celebrate their victory over Eggman and Chaos, but are cut short when Robotnik and Knuckles are found unconscious, and the emeralds are all absorbed by the monster.
So starting off here, it's like the start off in the game for the final story.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Michael's
except
doing
they're
his
not
thing.
they're not at Angel Island, they're just at some ruins, I guess.
What's going on with the scaling here? Why is Eggman so tiny?
I guess he is kind of.
I think
Unless Knuckles is just huge.
if Eggman stood upright, he would still be taller than Knuckles here, but yeah, he does
Yes.
look a little small. I'm wondering
Well,
if maybe they
Eggman's
were
built like
looking
a
at the-
fucking gorilla.
I wonder if they were maybe looking at the game where they're a little closer in proportion to this, but even then, Knuckles
Right.
is still way shorter.
Yeah.
thing that surprised me more, and this is just the difference between the comics and the games. In the games, Knuckles sees Eggman and he's just like, "Whoa, that's weird." But here he's like, "Whoa, that's weird. Maybe I should kill him."
Yeah,
It really shows the difference between game and comic Knuckles.
Indeed.
I would say game and comic Eggman just as much.
Yeah, that's true. Well, okay.
Well,
yeah,
'cause he's
Robotnik in the
he's
comic.
worthy of being killed, right?
Yeah,
You know?
well,
Yeah.
yeah. Comic Robotnik is like actually psychotic.
True,
No,
true.
he is more irredeemable than game Eggman, who's still evil,
Yeah.
but like...
Game Eggman's just kind of a silly guy.
I mean, he has his moments, but
Oh, sure, yeah, but like he's not as like actually evil as comic Eggman.
totally.
It's funny because, unlike in the game, the catalyst is this event and everybody reacts to it. Here, it's like everybody's just kind of chilling, like, oh, we already solved the threat. I like that Sonic apologizes to Tails for leaving the Tornado 2 on the crashing egg carrier, which is funny because we never switched planes. It just kind of turned into the blue plane from the red one.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
But, like in the games, they go out to find the last emerald, and it seems like it crashes right after Sonic and Tails talk to Knuckles about Chaos.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
I
Because
think they
Big
just...
appears to have collapsed from the crash.
Yeah,
right
also,
after.
it's the red plane.
Yay, art inconsistencies. It's like we've never seen them before.
It's crazy, but in the same page, because when you look at Knuckles, you see the biplane, and I assume that's the one Big's flying, but if you look closely at the crash site on the bottom right, it's got the X-Wings. So what the
Yeah,
hell?
I know.
Oops.
Ooh,
I
art
guess.
inconsistencies. It's like you'd think we'd never seen them before.
No,
Okay, I get it.
it's worth pointing out.
It is worth pointing out. I'm being a butthead.
Well, Chaos's big water tornado happens. There's a very funny panel of Sonic covered in white water,
Oh yes, water.
and it's got the biplane's mega power source, the Super Emerald, as opposed to regular power sources.
Mega power. Oh well, that's just.
Goddamn
I mean,
mega
I-
powers.
I get the point. It's just
I-
that
no,
you
I-
didn't use a regular battery.
Right, yeah, you use it's like instead of using a double A, you're using a D cell.
Right.
Oh yeah. When I get a D cell battery, I say it's a mega power. Whatever.
You don't? I do.
So back in Station Square, they're showing off that Station Square is powered by super emeralds.
In like a tank of water?
Yeah, convenient, ain't it? This is weird. So I guess all 6 super emeralds came from Station Square originally, even though I thought they were Master Emerald shards.
Well,
Also,
also,
we never saw them get like scattered or
didn't Nate
talk about
say
how they
he
were
made the?
lost.
Didn't Nate also say he made the super emeralds?
No, he
That's not
took
too
it.
difficult to
Wait,
explain because you could have just given it to them.
I
Okay,
thought he
true. He did say he'd been here before.
I thought he took it from the Indiana Jones temple. Where did that one get it?
I thought he made it and then he
Yeah, I
like
thought he made it and then
lost
like
it. In fact, he
or
could
like
have given
hid them
all
or
7
something.
here, and one of them might have gotten stolen. That's
That
not too
makes
hard to believe.
that makes as much sense as anything.
This comic is never going to be consistent about these things out of these
Well,
writers.
no,
I also want to note that Mayor Bulliani looks
it's changed
entirely different,
designs.
and
Yeah.
also they spell his name wrong.
It's not
So,
the only
you know.
time they're going to spell a character's name wrong in this.
Well, let's
Oh.
remember, this character is not going to appear for much longer, because once we get into the Sonic Adventure 2 stuff, he gets permanently replaced with the president, so...
Okay, that does
Mhm.
make that makes sense. That's fair.
Anyway, yes, they keep all the emeralds in a fish tank, so chaos just drips from the ceiling, and they're like, oh shit, he got them!
Oops.
Wait, hold on. But then Sally also seems surprised that it's filling up with water.
It's already filled with water.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. That is a strange line.
Yeah, so that's funny, but I'll say this. The chaos destroying Station Square cutscene is recreated shot for shot.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it's
And
glorious.
it is pretty.
Yeah.
It honestly, it even looks pretty good.
But like Penders' crutch for dialogue, Ballers shows that he really likes adding unnecessary narration to things that I think makes it weaker.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we need to be told that the water is going through the highway. We can't just look at it. But
Yeah, that's fair.
I
but
didn't
hey,
really mind it that much. But it's
I
a
mean, to
little
be honest,
strange.
I kind of just ignored it.
well, in
Yeah.
exchange, we do get one thing that I really like, which is the detail of all the freedom fighters helping people evacuate.
Yeah, we actually get to see the freedom fighters. Like, what I feel like should be more their job rather than anything else.
I can't believe. Well, yeah, because so much.
Or their, excuse me,
They
their job
should be.
now.
Yeah, that's fair. But anyway, yeah, this is a great moment. I can't believe I have to say they actually improved one thing about Sonic Adventure, which is showing the evacuation instead of insisting that it
Instead of
happened.
just saying, like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
no one died.
Exactly.
Maybe we're lucky that this comic never did a Shadow the Hedgehog adaptation.
Damn.
Oh, I mean, no, that would have been a good thing though, because that would have improved it.
They would have found some way to fuck it up. Penders
Well,
didn't
yeah,
leave
this
until
is the one.
2006.
This is the one thing. So
Some way, not like the game itself fucks it up.
I will say though,
Mhm.
Nate Morgan usually needs to walk with a cane, but here he's running at full speed carrying 2 children. So
Adrenaline.
I guess he
I
trained.
guess.
He got stronger.
Yeah, he trained in the last like 30 seconds.
Also, Amy is holding a orange hammer with a green handle, and I think the colorist
Yeah.
just may have not known what it was they were drawing.
They're just like, let's just choose some random ass colors.
It was at this time that I muted my microphone to let the cat out of my room, and then Lauren decided to be a funny little bitch about it.
Speaking
Um,
of cats, what is Big doing here?
My microphone was off. I said that when my microphone was off, and then edited out in post. They're not gonna know what you're talking about.
Speaking of cats,
What is
which
Big doing
I just
here?
did. What is Big doing here?
I guess he
just-
just came with Sonic and Tails.
Okay,
I don't
well,
know
to
why.
be fair, it's the same. Actually, I don't remember. Is Big even in the final story of the game?
Yes.
So he definitely is.
Okay,
But in the games, I don't know.
he still basically just kind of shows up.
These comics are expanding on certain things, often in bizarre ways. But
I
they
mean,
keep
yeah.
this exactly the same. It's just I find it funny.
It is
Big
funny.
is still just there.
I
Part of
mean,
it is-
we wouldn't want it any other way. We love Big in this house.
Fair
Part
enough,
of it is
I
that it
suppose.
seemed more explicitly like Big just went home at the end of the comic, whereas in the game he was just kind of like, "All right, I got him back."
Yeah.
Hey, the Egg Carrier 2 is still here, but hey, it gets to look different from its predecessor by being gray for no reason.
Yeah, why is it grayscale? There's no reason why it can't be the same color scheme. It's just another egg carrier.
They should have just said he repaired it. I said that before, and it's
Okay,
still true.
well, yeah. Well, but so my only problem with that is, like, how can you repair it that fast?
I don't know. How could he build it?
I don't know. He probably built it over the course of
He pays for it with insurance fraud. We've already covered this.
That's true. The insurance from his own insurance company.
That's
We're
right.
repeating his friggin' joke from SA1. I will say, I love this panel of him posing dramatically and saying, "I'm back."
Oh my gosh, yes. This moment is
That is fucking
totally
great.
a joy.
That is great.
But it does make it weird, because, like, in the game, it's definitely kind of a joke that Eggman has an entire second battleship and then it gets destroyed in one hit. But that doesn't fit with comic Eggman, who is extremely dangerous all the time forever.
Well, if anything, comic Eggman would 100% have a second egg carrier.
That's true.
Yeah,
actually.
no, that does make a lot more sense.
Like, game Eggman is like... He definitely seems like he's constantly struggling for money. Comic Eggman doesn't need money.
Right, because he is the economy.
Yeah, he has slave labor.
Yeah. The thing that really confuses me about this is I don't think, like, the narration seems to imply the writer doesn't understand this moment. Because instead of saying, like, oh, Eggman thought they could take on Chaos and then got destroyed, it's like, then Robotnik rants and raves and realizes just how former his relationship was. Like, as if he was, like, gonna join Chaos or something.
Yeah, still under the impression that Chaos was doing what he wanted.
He has the look on his face is the same look I get when my cat is mean to me. Also, Knuckles calls it the Egg Ship Destroyer, which is a much stupider name.
Yeah, you had a perfectly good name.
Yeah.
Knuckles is like Penders, he thinks he can just name things himself. Yeah, but Sonic gets his vision from Tikal here, which I may note, they spell it Tikal with a C, so there's something going on.
There it is.
Yep, there it is.
But hey, at least that is Tikal on the right there.
Yeah, we finally actually get to see Tikal instead of whoever the fuck that was before, because I refuse to believe that was Tikal.
They make another design screw up when they show Chaos in its natural form centuries ago, and it's just a river with a happy face.
Okay, this is simultaneously, I hate it and I love it, because it's everything I like from the comics, where they expand upon things in the most bizarre way. They're like, oh, it's our job to explain chaos. They were a river. So then simultaneously, it's the stupidest way possible. Like, they're just like, oh, sure, that works, I guess.
To be fair, I feel like that goes along better with the idea that Chaos was either was a god or was worshipped as a god.
I don't know if it's explicitly stated in the games. But that he was a Chow. That's not the case here.
At some point, it's explained that he's a Chow. I don't know when.
Well, what it is I think that it makes Chow noises at some point, is what it is.
But, I mean, again, this does kind of go with the idea that it was worshipped as a god.
Well, that's what they're leaning into.
Right, but the fact that it's just a fucking river with a smiley face.
Well, it looks ridiculous, that's
so
for sure.
Silly.
Yeah. It's really weird, because Tikal says perfect chaos must be defeated without destroying it. That's Sonic's job. He's supposed to say that. And it's funny, because he does say that later. So it's like you're kind of getting back and forth. And for some reason, they also specify the power siphon that controls the Hidden City's environment is still connected to Chaos. What the fuck does that mean?
That kind of feels like just random tech babble that they wanted to throw in.
But what does that have to do with anything?
The power
I have no idea.
Chaos Emeralds is still attached to Chaos, so it can drain its power. That's pretty clearly what it's talking about.
I guess, but would that mean that this was retconned in here? Because next issue is not written by the same person and does revolve around that thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I do think Tikal is saying we have to seal away Chaos, and that's what Sonic is going to disagree with later. But I did not expect this at all. I get Penders. I don't know if this was written by Penders, but
this is Ballers.
I can't remember. Well, Penders made waves or something, because all the echidnas just have to be super awesome now. And so Tikal, despite being dead, is like, I shall now cast a spell upon Chaos and like drain the Chaos Emeralds out of it. Like, what the heck?
What is this bullshit? What?
I was actually in my notes. I say that I like this, but it's not really that I like it so much as I like her like doing Magic's pose.
The magic pose
It
is
looks
funny,
neat,
but like it's
but
just a
it's
bunch of
weird.
mumbo jumbo.
Yeah,
Like
that's fair.
it has no real, not purpose, but like meaning. It's a effectively a Deus Ex Machina. Like
It kind of is. It doesn't save the
yeah,
day entirely, so it doesn't quite
no,
fit that. But it is
it's like a half.
contrived.
It's like a
That's for
half Deus
sure.
Ex Machina.
And it's weird because they didn't need this here because the game's already explained it, sort of.
Yeah, they could just as easily had him absorb the power and then spit him back up.
Yeah. Oh no, they
I,
do talk about how the negative forces are still drained. So they did both for some reason.
mm,
I think it's just for me that Tikal doesn't have a ton of agency in the game overall. She's just kind of having to be like, come
well,
on.
I mean to be
Well, that's
fair,
because she's
Wow.
because she's a
dead. That's
ghost.
fine.
Well, I
That's the
know.
whole
It's
role
just,
of
Yeah,
I
her
just
whole
like
role is
Tikal,
basically
okay?
being
What
a
do you want?
Navi-like character. I
Yeah.
like Tikal too, but her whole role in the game is basically being Navi.
Fine, fine, I'm fine. Hey, it's Supersonic. This is the first time that we've seen him since I think it
Mogul
was
issue.
The horribly drawn issue
Oh,
yeah,
I
I
love
think that's
that one.
71.
sounds right.
Yeah.
And even then, this is the first time that Supersonic has been drawn correctly since Universe Salamander, the very first time.
Oh,
They were drawn correctly then, and then not again.
wait,
Once
so
and then never again. Spazio draws him right on the covers, but the interior
Wait.
artists always just make him regular Sonic, but yellow.
oh, they don't give him the upturned quills. Okay, I never noticed that. That's interesting.
Yeah. I was gonna say, or the red eyes, but that was an Adventure 1 edition, so.
Right.
Mm.
The red eyes do really complete the design. I never noticed that before.
Yeah.
Same,
But,
actually.
the fight here is pretty good. You know, Butler's artwork is, of
Solid
course,
enough.
still strong.
Though Sonic kind of gets his ass beaten for at the beginning of it.
He kind of just struggles, which I don't know. Maybe that's a parallel to the game, but
Well, okay. I mean, yeah, he hasn't used Supersonic all that much. So, I mean, my theory is just like he just doesn't really know how to use it.
It's just a new foe, and he was just overconfident.
That's probably part of it because that's pretty in character for him.
Yeah.
yeah. But that's actually where the issue cuts off. There's only one story the whole issue, and you know what? I think it's
Surprise,
one of the
surprise.
best issues of the whole arc.
I mean, yeah, it's
Yeah, no
like,
major
actually,
complaints really.
yeah, it's fairly game accurate, and the few things that weren't game accurate are pretty minor.
Yeah, well, and it added something instead of subtracting.
Yeah,
You know, that's been the
Yeah.
problem with this whole thing, is that the only ways that this differs from the game, other than by fucking things up, is by subtraction, is that they take away parts of the story.
right.
Speaking of which, here's Sonic the Hedgehog number 84.
Oh, right.
I do like the cover and how it parallels the last issue.
The
Just
cover is
reused
cool.
the chaos drawing, although it does look cool as a shadow on the.
That
Is it
does
actually
look
the
really
exact same
cool.
drawing?
It sure looks like it.
I mean, probably.
I'll check afterward, but yeah. So our story here is, of course, called Perfect Chaos, drawn by Stephen Butler and written, unfortunately, by Ken Penders. Apparently, Ballers was unavailable for this issue, which means
Oh,
that
boy.
That explains why we start off this way.
yeah, we start
Yeah.
off not with the actual conflict, but with
Uh.
fucking Locke and the cat people.
Penders was annoyed that he didn't get any Knuckles stuff last issue.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we have to get at this issue.
Yeah, we start with Locke taking off his bathrobe, which makes him look even more like Knuckles with some friggin' cotton balls stuck to his chin.
He looks so silly taking it off. It's funny because it's clearly supposed to look cool. He just looks silly.
He looks like he's just getting out of the shower and it's a towel.
Yeah, honestly.
But he beats up a big cat dude.
Yeah, and
Okay.
it's underwhelming, I'm gonna be honest.
Well, it's
Yeah.
going from perfect chaos to this. What do you
That's-
expect?
Fair, yeah.
Luckily, we only get that for like 2 pages. Yeah.
2 pages,
Something
yeah.
like that, yeah.
But it's annoying that Supersonic and Chaos is the backdrop to this, especially since look at this awesome 2-page spread. Come on, why
Oh,
is
yeah,
that
it
not your
looks
focus
great.
from the start?
Hell yeah.
In fact, there's 2 2-page spreads.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Sonic goes back on his own pledge because he says, if it's a matter of my dead carcass or yours, it ain't me that's going down. Which, side note, terrible writing. That's awful dialogue. What are you doing?
Yeah, yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. That's weird. It's because when he goes super, he goes crazy. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
He gets a little angry.
Yeah. That's all I can think. I do like though that he does use the spiral spin up through chaos, and whack him in the brain, just like in the games.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, Antoine's leg gets hit by a rock, and so he has to be saved.
Yeah.
There's this really weird moment after that where, of course, Bunny is concerned, but then Knuckles is like, "No, you can't help Antoine. I have to."
He's gotta be. He's gotta be the bigger hero.
Of course. Also, Bunny has fangs in like one frame.
Oh yeah, what the hell? She's a rabbit. You give her.
Just wanted to
buck teeth,
point
if
that
anything.
out. Just wanted to point that out. You know, this is perfectly
That's
normal.
a good find.
It's not like Sonic has ever been accurate with that stuff, because like they give Knuckles canine teeth. Real echidnas don't have teeth, but
That's true.
Anyway, so yeah, supersonic fight. We cut back to Locke again because we have to have two plot lines going at once. And Locke's like, hashtag not all echidnas. I'm not a colonizer just because my ancestors were. And
Which is weird because last issue, or not, 2 issues ago or whatever, I'm pretty sure he said, like, I'm willing to finish what my ancestors started, or something to that
no,
effect.
he says, I'm willing to finish what your ancestors started, even though it was his ancestors that
Well,
started it.
same difference. It
Yeah.
clashes.
It's like, he's like, not all echidnas, and she's like, but definitely these ones. Do you not understand that? And Locke just says, more often than not, my family has contributed to the common good of all. That's such a... Ugh, I hate that.
That's such a weird way to put it.
Well, it's like, that's
It's
what...
also not true, but whatever.
That's
Yeah,
what real
yeah.
people from colonizer culture to say. And, you know, it's part of his... Again, it's setting it up so that the queen will knock him down, because next she says, does your family tell you about him? And you won't see
Right.
until later. I think it's Pachacomic that she's talking about. But,
I think
Indeed.
so.
but it's, again, they're never going to seriously interrogate it as an actual bad thing.
Well, of course
We've
not.
spent enough fucking words
Yep,
on this.
it's
Anyway,
it's the same thing.
Yeah.
here's something worse than that. We have the supersonic fight going on, but ultimately, Sonic does not matter at all.
Of course.
The
Of
actual
course not.
crux of the fight is left up to Knuckles, who has to connect the city's power generator so that Chaos will be electrocuted.
Which is, yeah, it's great. We got Supersonic, and, he doesn't matter.
No, Knuckles is the real hero. These are
Of
the
course
Knuckles
he
the Echidna
is.
comics. His name is on the cover.
That's right.
That's
Yeah.
true, yeah.
It's not just that Penrose is making Knuckles his pet character, the savior of SA1, but also that calming Chaos down by zapping the shit out of him with electricity doesn't seem...
To be fair, you just beat him up in the game, so...
Yeah, you beat him up
Okay.
with friendship.
Oh yeah, this is... Well, how do you know it's not friendly electricity?
Well, it's just,
I've been electrocuted before. I know it's not friendly.
yeah,
Beaten up
exactly. I can
before?
take, I will
You
beat
need to get
evil
beaten
out
up.
of you.
It's not friendly either.
Some people
mean,
punch each other in the face as a recreational sport, you know? That's not the case for electricity, as far as I know.
No, but there's other things electricity can be done or can be used for. Let's not go into that.
Whatever it is, it probably happened to Nathan Fielder. Anyway, so yeah, we go through all that. I don't actually have any further notes for this part. It's really just building up the Knuckles big moment.
Yeah, pretty much.
Once again, Knuckles just uses the power of power and does it.
The power of being the writer's favorite.
Yep.
Yeah, he connects the thing, Chaos gets electrocuted, and then just sort of pops back into being Chaos Zero and also some Chow.
Yeah, where'd the Chow come from?
Well, again, it's consistent. I don't know. It's kind of weird. They didn't really explain that in the game either.
They
I
also
assume-
look kind of off.
Well, yeah, they didn't color the animal parts, so it looks very
True.
strange.
True.
After Chaos is calm again, then Tikal drops this weird line where they're like, time now, we return to the zone we belong to. Wait a second.
Hmm.
A different zone? You mean they're not just like, the afterlife? Maybe
They
the afterlife
are
is a zone.
they are
Oh my
dead, but
god.
either Penders didn't know that or he just wrote it in a weird way because he's Penders. But
Or maybe he just didn't care.
they're going to the dead zone.
Oh, okay. Well, the thing is that they're guarding, like, I can't even tell. Could be a super emerald, could
I think
be a
that's
master emerald.
I think that's the black emerald.
It could be the black emerald, but it's colored partially green, although it is
It
dark.
is.
So, yeah, it
Well, see, that's the
probably is
thing.
the black emerald, but then that means that's not the afterlife, unless the black emerald joined them in the afterlife.
Well, Robotnik
Eggman
did break
smashed it with a hammer, remember?
Oh, so it died. Right.
It died.
The rock died, yeah.
Damn.
Okay.
I guess that turned it green though, because it was always drawn like that, but it was highlighted with blue before, which is a more natural highlight for black.
That makes more sense for black.
Yeah.
Blue or purple. Green makes not a lot of sense.
Yeah, but we kind of miss out on the proper like reconciliation from SA1 in terms of Chaos's anger being
reconciliation?
satiated.
Everyone just kind of leaves.
I mean, that is kind of how it ends in the end.
Yeah, but we have a little bit of talking
I
afterwards.
guess
and
that's true. You're right.
instead,
There was
everyone
no
just
time.
kind of dips out, and Knuckles walks off with his sack of rocks.
It's like on the one hand, I understand that we're missing out on some of the ending dialogue. On the other hand, I'm glad that they didn't adapt All's Well That Ends Well.
Oh, right. The reason I brought up Big being here is because in the game, at least, he has like a Chaos Emerald to find, because like
That's
everyone
true.
picks up one that gets after they get thrown out.
You're right.
Big is
No,
literally
but
just
instead,
here.
he's just standing there at the end here, and that's the only time he showed up since the beginning. So there's literally no reason that he was here.
Yeah, and that does make the Tikal pulling the emeralds out worse because it means that everybody else contributes less.
Well, to be fair, they replaced that with them helping the civilians.
Well, so they should have just had Big do that. He could carry like 7 people in his arms.
Hell yeah, he can
Yeah.
drag more with his fishing rod.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, long story short, the Chaos fight is over. And fuck you, Penders, for making it like that.
Yeah.
Also, fuck you, Penders, for this Jankles drawing on the next page. Welcome
Oh
to
my
the second
gosh.
story of this issue.
God,
Bridge
he's
over troubled waters.
beautiful.
Written and drawn by Penders, wherein I did not write a description, but I think it's about them teaching Knuckles about the history of the clan or something.
That's essentially correct.
Yeah, pretty much.
And the Queen of the Cats and Locke finally come to some sort of concession.
Yeah. So Knuckles is getting back. He has the guiding star gem to tell him where to go. He can't just know where home is. And there's something really funny about this drawing of Saber and Spectre both looking... The way that Penders adds lines to things makes everyone look really wrinkly or like their skin is made out of leather.
Mm.
But according to them, Angel Island is now sinking into the sea after crashing there, which is weird because, like, that was several days ago.
It probably doesn't sink super fast.
I guess it is a continent,
actually-
so...
To be fair, they do say it is gradually sinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. So they restore the Master Emerald, and it's funny because it's like they're at the SA1 Emerald altar when they do that, but they're just going to put it back in the glow stick room on Angel Island anyway. So.
Yeah.
They are?
I would
I
assume
think so.
they do.
I think that's where it ends
The-
up after this. They're
Well,
not-
oh,
that's funny because
The Master Emerald's already been shown to be there in the first, or previously been there in the first place.
well, they say, oh, we need to make this new thing to more efficiently harness the power. So I assumed, oh, this is just the new place. But no,
Well-
they're just going to use it this once.
No,
No,
never mind. No, the Chaos Chamber was destroyed. This is the replacement.
Okay.
Oh, that you're right. They actually say it was destroyed. Okay,
Yeah, I didn't
I'm-
catch that in my
part.
first read.
I think I might actually be wrong, because I'm trying to think when's the next time I see the Master Emerald, and the last time I can remember is Return to Angel Island, and by that point they've moved it to Hidden Palace, so... Anyway, so Emerald's restored, but Knuckles has to go to Cat Country now because reasons.
Because they're looking for their father.
Everyone is surprised that Knuckles is alive for some reason, which is weird, because nobody ever said that he died and nobody else died, so...
Well, yeah. Why would they? Why would they assume he's dead?
You don't
They've
see
had
someone
no
for a while, they're
contact.
probably dead.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see you guys last week, and I thought that you guys had been ground in the mulch.
Yeah, I mean, every time I don't see Devin between Friday and recording and Thursday Elden Ring, I just assume he's dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, Locke and the Queen are not fighting anymore. Instead, he gives Knuckles a history lesson on the Knuckles clan, which is weird because we already got that. Is there even any difference to what we got before here?
Can't
Probably
remember.
not.
The main thing that we learn here is that they deliberately named Knuckles after the Knuckles clan, and they treat that like it's like honorable, but the whole reason that the Queen told him about Pachacamic is because she's trying to illustrate that the Knuckles clan were bastards.
Yeah,
And
Yeah, that's a good point.
Locke
yeah.
claims that despite that, I guess he knew about it already because he says that he said, after much thought, I felt it time the family reclaim its name and heritage, beginning with you. What the fuck does that mean? That's
Mm.
like bringing your son Adolf to a synagogue and saying, "I named you this because it's been long enough."
Well, it's
Like what?
I
because nobody can
Whoa.
ever do any wrong if they're part of the line of the Guardians. And so you have to redeem Pachacamac the Conqueror somehow. I'm sure. Well, I'm sure if Penders cared enough about the games, he would do it. I doubt he'll really touch on this that much as he can anyway.
I don't even know why the Cat Queen became non-hostile. Locke just kind of said, "I'm not a threat," and that worked.
I've met a cat. They're not particularly bright.
Ugh, what a nothing story. I can't fucking
It's
stand
bizarre
Penders.
because they cut the main story short and so cut out some important stuff and just for this. Okay.
Yeah. Well, at the very least, we are done with Sonic Adventure for good now. Um,
Thank God, I
what an
think.
utter mess of an adaptation on every level of production and pacing,
It really was.
with weird contradictions and mistakes the entire way through.
Yeah, I mean, true,
Yeah.
but like doesn't stack up horribly in terms of adaptations in the comics, in my opinion.
And that's what's weird is that
Yeah.
it's the most elaborate and, I guess, technically the most faithful adaptation of a game they've
Kind
ever
of,
done,
yeah.
other than 3D Blast, maybe.
That's
That was
true.
the one
That
I
was
was
actually
going
that
to
was
bring
pretty on
up.
point.
That was
That
the
does
one
beat
I
it.
was going to bring up.
I forgot about that one.
That
Which is
game's
also
still
funny because
pretty
that comic is
cool.
boring as shit, but
Yeah, it is. That's a good point.
They didn't get creative with it at all. What do you know?
Well, and that's the thing, is
Yeah.
that despite the utter shambles this game's story is in this adaptation, it was kind of fun.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
so it's in shambles, but it's also still recognizable. It's not like you can't tell it's Sonic Adventure.
Well,
They
yeah.
kept things moving along, and I think that's why
Yeah.
it somehow managed to. It's not that it didn't fall apart, but it's that it fell apart in an entertaining way.
Hmm.
I guess so.
But I wish that it expanded upon the game instead of subtracted from it.
True.
Yeah.
Like, hey, remember how Gamma is an extremely integral part of that game's story? He's not even
And then
mentioned.
he shows up for like 5 minutes in the comics.
We don't even
Yeah, that
see him
was
die.
incredibly disappointing.
That's
And
true.
in
We don't even
fact,
see him
Well,
die.
it's because he doesn't die, I think.
yeah, you're right. They bring him back
Oh,
like
interesting.
150 issues later and also in a Sonic Universe comic.
Jesus Christ.
Not to say bring him back, that is to say he reappears because he didn't die. But
Right.
that's Flynn era. That's retcons, and they're good. So whatever. Let's get moving. The next comic is better anyway. Here it is. It's Sonic number 85, and holy shit, they actually did expand on something from Sonic Adventure after it was done.
This is insane. I did not expect to see
Oh,
this Metal
yeah.
Sonic here.
It's the Mecha Sonic from the Mystic Ruins base.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's yeah, huh?
And, as predicted, he looks cool as shit.
Yeah, he really
Yeah, no,
does.
it is a great design.
Spazion does the cover, but even when he's drawn by Ron Lim in our story here, The Big Payback, written by Bollards and Lim, he still looks cool. Recovering from Chaos's attack, Station Square throws a going-away party for the heroes, but the celebration is cut short by a new Mecha Sonic attacking the festivities.
Starting off here, I mean, I can't say this isn't in character, but it is funny that Eggman is furious that they defeated Chaos, even though Chaos completely betrayed him.
I mean, maybe he thinks that he could have reined it in himself, but,
Oh, right, yeah, he had a backup plan.
Yeah,
honestly,
knowing
he probably did. I don't know if it would have worked, but
contingencies for contingencies.
yeah.
I like Station Square throwing a going-away party for the heroes for saving the city. I guess maybe the damage wasn't as bad in this universe.
Big is
I guess
there.
so. Yeah,
Yeah, what did he do? Who knows? But it's funny anyway.
Because he just happened to still be there, so he got honored with the rest of the freedom fighters.
Right.
Yeah. Well, here's a robot anyway. They call him Silver Sonic 2, which is fitting for Archie's naming scheme, even if it's not in the games.
True.
He flies. He's fast. He has missiles.
And he has Sonic's mannerisms, which I did not expect.
Yeah, it's odd because they present Silver Sonic as, this big sort of hulking monstrosity, but this is much more as a proper metal Sonic.
Honestly,
No,
yeah.
it's true. And I don't think... I'm trying to think. Okay, Pseudosonic kind of had that casual attitude, but Pseudosonic was Pseudosonic. None of the metal Sonics that we've gotten really have displayed a ton of personality. I guess maybe Metal had a few moments, but not as much as this, I don't think.
No, not really. I am sort of realizing that this Mecha Sonic design totally fits in line with the Sonic Advance 1 Mechaknuckles, and I never realized that.
Yeah, it does.
Yes, it very much... Well, I guess it's the other way around. That was reminiscent of this design.
Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, big fight between Sonic and Silver Sonic. And it's pretty good. It's decent enough action. I wish that the other characters got to contribute a little bit since they're all here.
They try, but Metal Sonic is just laser focused on Sonic, and they're both running at super speed, so it's kind of understandable.
Yeah, well, it's like you have Amy's hammer, you have Nate's programming, you have Big the Cat catching it with his fishing rod, and it would be fine if just like any of those let Sonic get a hit in. That's all you really need.
No, fair enough.
But instead, they just let Sonic take care of everything, which doesn't mean that it's not fun. It is fun.
It is.
I especially like the panel of Mecha Sonic landing in the rubble. That posing is really cool. It kind of reminds me of, I don't know what, something from One Piece maybe? I don't know. But it's, this is a dead simple issue. They just fight for the whole thing.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's a bit in the middle of the fight where I thought they were gonna do something interesting, because Nicole is like analyzing Silver Sonic, and they're like, oh well, their power supply is infinite, so we have to think of something special to defeat them or whatever. So I thought, oh, they're probably powered by a Chaos Emerald or something. No. And they don't do anything special to defeat them either.
Yeah, that's what it should have been. You should have had all the freedom fighters distracting or holding him back, and then Big the Cat fishes the emerald out of him.
Exactly.
That would have been perfect.
Yeah.
See, we're better writers.
Instead, they have Sonic knock off one of his feet. It hits Tails in the head and knocks him out. Sonic gets really angry and then spin dashes his head off.
Yep.
I mean, why not? Sure.
I mean, we've said why not, because...
Well, yeah, I know.
Better.
Well, yeah, we can think of better, but it's protective older brother Sonic.
Yeah, I suppose. But they win, it's Eggman just is like, oh, they defeated him. But then it's like, oh, maybe I can do something else.
Or fix it. He wants to fix it.
Yeah. And so they shake Rudy Giuliani's hand. They say goodbye to Big, who's like, I live here, so I'm not going with you.
Mm-hmm.
And they leave, and that's the end. Just kidding, they crash.
Oops.
Yeah, someone sabotaged the ship. Someone close by, in fact.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, setting something up.
But we do get a nice stinger, which is that Nate did in fact manage to eventually reprogram Silver Sonic 2 to serve as the protector of Station Square.
That's pretty cool.
I
It's
like that.
interesting, I suppose. Yeah.
He chases off Eggman, and
Also,
Eggman.
it kind of looks like Eggman was just kind of. Oh, he was tracing it, Silver Sonic too. I thought he was just wandering around Station Square.
Well, I mean, he is just walking around. He's not even in so much as an eggmobile,
That's
so it's kind of
true.
weird that like nobody. I guess they didn't bother because they knew Silver Sonic was there.
Yeah, they guess they knew Silver Sonic was their new defender. They're like, whatever.
And it works. Eggman doesn't come back
It
here.
does. Yeah,
True.
fair enough.
But we do have one other story in this issue, which is Rotor the Walrus in Home and Back, written by Ballers and art by Diamond Rose Studios.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
surprised me. I was like, what? Who?
I don't think they
Huh?
ever do anything other than this one story, and spoiler alert, good thing too.
that's
But
got to be a pseudonym for like
Well,
for
I
something.
was confused by this, and so I like searched it up, and like the only reference I could find was to this comic, like in
yeah,
anything. So I probably.
Huh?
I mean, I
yeah.
didn't dig that hard, but they're not well known, that's for sure. So it's
I
not
mean, yeah,
seems probable. But a long time no see for Rotor here.
yeah. I was gonna
Yeah,
say we haven't seen her in a hot minute.
yeah, with his damaged sub putting him ever closer to his end, Rotor recalls the past few months with his family where Robotnik's mind control had disappeared, only to suddenly return. But yes, Rotor left like a year ago to save his still hypnotized family, and that's still going on.
Yeah,
The colors in this issue are wild. Not issue, story.
The visuals on this comic are a fever dream because yes, the coloring is really really weird and the shading is like default Photoshop burn tool ass shit.
yeah. My immediate thought is this looks like really early digital art or really early 2000s digital art.
Yeah, well you can see like the chopper badniks all around him have been copy pasted. It's just one drawing over and
Yeah,
over again.
which
Or like
yeah,
That's a
just digital
really
bubble
weird
effects.
chopper
yeah,
design too.
that is a
Yeah.
really weird chopper design.
Yeah, and the art itself, the drawings are a little creepy looking.
They feel a little. Oh, the drawings all feel a little on the soulless side.
It's the eyes mixed with the weird anatomy and shapes. Like his ass is huge,
Yeah, and there's multiple shots of Rotor's ass on the same page.
and they still have the weird wrinkliness that Penders does, although not the same way. It looks more like they look like living pool toys.
Living pool toys.
Anyway, so the story here is that Rotor was already headed for the ice caps, but the Arctic freedom fighters, who look terrifying. Look at that dude's fingers; they look so gross. Uh, they they contacted him to tell him that his herd of walrus family suddenly regained their free will. I assume because Robotnik died.
Right, that's how it worked with
Probably,
the
yeah.
Robians.
Yeah.
Right.
So he just lived there for several months until one day everyone was mind controlled again. I assume when
I
Robotnik came
assume
back.
Eggman.
Yeah.
Okay, so like, what was the point?
Yeah, I mean, he's just running away again now, even though you
Right.
set out to help these people before you knew they'd been unhypnotized. Did you not have a plan?
I mean,
That's true.
clearly
Actually,
he.
that's a good point.
I don't know what the problem is.
Yeah, well, I mean, the conflict right now is that his submarine got damaged and now he's gonna
Well,
die,
yeah,
so.
yeah.
He ends up just being saved by the Arctic Freedom Fighters, but it's like, what's the point? If you had had him arrive, something befalls his submarine on the way, and then he wakes up saved by them, and they're like, yeah, we got to figure out how to save your family, with never even mentioning that they like this. Did they just need an excuse for a time skip? I don't know.
I would assume so.
Yeah, but this might as well be like this might be a bank issue, if not for the
Oh
fact
yeah.
that the art is so weird that it might have been done by some 14-year-old they found on DeviantArt, which didn't exist at the time.
What year was this issue?
2000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, but ugly and pointless. So sorry about that one.
It's nice to see
Uh,
Rotor a little, at least.
yeah.
I guess I'm glad that they haven't completely forgotten him.
I haven't completely forgotten he existed.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Also, DeviantArt was founded in the year 2000, so ha.
Oh.
You know, that makes this comic a product of history, you know? It's a Sonic comic drawn by one of the first ever DeviantArt users. My
Hell
evidence of this
yeah.
is nothing.
You don't need evidence. We could just claim it.
Alright, let's go to the next one with Sonic the Hedgehog number 86. Hey, look, another Sonic robot!
Yeah. This
Yep.
one looks a little weird.
They look normal in the issue, but
Yeah,
on
I
the
know.
cover
On
they
the
look
cover,
bizarre.
they're weird as hell looking.
Well, I'll tell you why. It's because he's drawn with white eyes and teeth.
Yeah.
It makes him look
Oh,
like
why.
Pseudo-Sonic, really.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Yeah, that's a
Imagine
weird
if this
one.
was Pseudo-Sonic. That would be a wild... callback.
No,
Sure, that would
instead,
never
this
happen.
is Heart of the Hedgehog, Part 1, Evil's Return. Written by Danny Fingeroth, who only wrote this issue and the next one, I think? And drawn by Sam Maxwell. A lot of weird staff choices. Also, we haven't seen Sam Maxwell in forever. But Sonic and Tails set out on a recon mission after the jet crash, but are confronted by a familiar foe.
Yeah.
I don't know what exactly that recon is. I don't know if they're trying to find the person who sabotaged them, or if they're just fucking around.
I feel like they talk on it at some point,
Uh,
but I'm not seeing it. They're probably just scouting around to make sure the area is safe or something.
probably.
Yeah, I suppose. Sam Maxwell's art was always weird, but it's extra weird. Tails looks so scraggly. He looks like he just got out of a bath, or out of a dryer.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly.
I don't know. They hang around talking. Tails goes out to look for firewood because I guess we're camping now,
Yeah.
and then he goes missing.
Whoops.
Oh.
And it's very odd because, you know, it's drawn a certain way for the first couple pages. But
Yeah, and
then
that changes.
the fifth panel on page 6, Sonic radically transforms. His eyes look completely different, and he looks more like, you know, our modern Sonic design.
Right.
But it's a very weird shift. But he goes searching for Tails and gets ambushed by Metal Sonic.
There it is.
Well, a new design for Metal Sonic.
It's
It
looking
might
a
as
little
well
Mega
be
Man-y.
a new Metal Sonic because they are super talkative and like to the point that I'm like, guess we're getting a Heroes adaptation early. Because as you will see, this Metal Sonic does have kind of similarities to that version.
It is. He
Yeah.
is a sort of sadistic, sort of prideful type. It's interesting that you say it's, you know, it might as well be different because as a character that's true, but it's in fact very important that this is the same core internally Metal Sonic as the one from Sonic CD. But,
I thought... Oh, you're right. Yes, right.
but Bruce is correct in that he has a Mega Buster now.
Yeah. It's interesting.
This is a completely original design. It's nothing like anything in the games, and I kind of like it.
It is a
Not
pretty
bad.
cool design.
It seems like something the games could have done but didn't. If that
Sure.
makes sense.
It's good, I guess. Props.
Yeah. And it is at least interesting that this is presented as the same individual, whereas Silver Sonics, they're their own thing, Pseudosonic is his own thing, but
Right.
this is explicitly the one from 25.
Right.
Right.
But he has captured Tails, and he is fast enough to not only match but surpass Sonic.
Yes. There's some fighting that goes on, and then it's revealed that it's also important that I didn't think you brought up yet. This Metal Sonic has already been repaired once before because they showed up in the Chaotix adaptation as well, and that is important because they nabbed a power gem apparently, and that's why they're wild. Powerful now.
Oh.
Yeah, I
Right.
see, yeah. Also, that I think they straight up reuse art from 25 and the Knuckles Chaotix issue. Look at how badly Knuckles is colored in that image.
Mm.
His arm is wrong, his chest is not white, and the space above his chest is not red.
Yeah.
Also, the Metal Sonic he's punching is black for some reason, even though it should be red. His newfound speed and strength makes him really arrogant, though, which I think is the personality difference that Lauren was talking about. He does talk more, which
Yeah.
is true, but this is like, you know, we've made Dragon Ball Z jokes here, but this is the one that most feels like a Dragon Ball fight in that Sonic is utterly hopeless and Metal is
Oh,
just
yeah.
making fun of him the entire time.
Yeah. Yeah.
which I'm not complaining about. I like when somebody has leverage over Sonic.
It's interesting. Yeah. I'm trying to think. No, yeah, we've gotten villains like that, but I think I like it a lot more here because it builds and it does feel justified and it's reminiscent of what we've kind of seen. So it's believable. A lot of the time when you see a villain that just messes around with the hero, I kind of get bored and like, come on, just cut to the chase. But
Yeah, at a
I
certain point,
totally get
stops
why
feeling
Metal
convincing.
Sonic would do it.
Yeah, well, and that's
Hmm.
part of this is that he decides to go for the game of death approach. He gives Sonic a chance to save Tails, who is stuck at the top of Mount Mobius, which is an active volcano. And I think this is the same Mount Mobius that Robotnik's Fortress in the Spinball adaptation was at.
Oh, huh.
Oh,
Interesting.
interesting.
I guess it's called Mount Mobius in Spinball, the game, as well. So, but yes, Sonic has to race to the top of the mountain to rescue Tails before it erupts. And Metal is just doing this because knowing that Sonic will fail is more fun to him than just killing him.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
No, this Metal Sonic is over the top,
Yeah, no
but
kidding.
It
it's interesting.
Also,
makes me
has
wish that
he
Metal in the games could kind of talk more, but also I also know that they'd probably screw up his personality if he could. So I don't know.
he also uses the term fleshling, and I'm pretty sure we've heard that before.
That sounds
But
familiar.
yeah, I've heard it. I've definitely heard it somewhere. I'm pretty sure it was in a comic, and that's been bothering me since I read this issue.
Maybe we'll find out one day. I don't know.
Probably not.
But yes, Tails is in trouble. Metal Sonic intentionally knocks out Sonic to basically just prove, like, yeah, he's gonna fail. Um, and that's
Yeah.
our cliffhanger. So clearly, the logical follow up to that is a story about Monkey Con.
I got
Oh
jump scared on the
God.
first page though, because it says 10 years ago, which I thought was the name of the story. And I thought it was Tales of the Great War, like part two, basically. But no, it's not. It's Monkey Con, which is, I guess, better.
Is
It's
it though?
Monkey Con in Against the Haunted Past, Part 1, story and art by Frank Strom. And, you're kind of right, though, because this is a flashback story to the Great War, showing how Robotnik kidnapped and performed cybernetic experiments on Monkey Khan and his clan.
It's true. However, rather than just like going through the motions of like, yeah, that sure happened when Robotnik got the roboticizer and roboticized Sonic's parents. Sure, that happened. Yep, and it goes pretty straightforward. Like this is actually, they actually try to tell like a story.
This is at least something we haven't seen, yes.
Right.
That's true.
Exactly.
It also tells us that Khan's real first name is Ken, and
I
also,
sure.
he's, I assume, a young boy here, but
Mhm.
this means that in the present, this is 10 years ago, which means that he was yet another adult going after Sally despite being older than her by a lot.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
But thankfully they've dropped that, I think, maybe? I don't know. I keep fixating on the line, look out, Ken's gone psycho again, and how funny that is out of context for these comics.
Well, yeah, yeah. They are kind of nuts. That's certainly true. I didn't get to mention it, but I am surprised that we're still getting more Monkey Kong stuff. Like this character is not a character I would think would be like as recurring as they are. I expect every character in these comics to return at some point, but this guy just keeps getting solo
I've
stories when
got
I least expect it.
I've got to wonder if Monkey Khan was someone's like is pet project the right term?
Well, yeah, absolutely. It's Frank
Yeah.
Strom. All of his stories are written and drawn by Frank Strom.
Oh, okay,
All
there
of
Mhm.
the
you
Journey to
go.
the West stuff, it's all Frank Strom. It is only ever him. I'm not
So
sure if
he must.
Yeah.
anybody ever even drew his stories.
Huh.
Anybody
Interesting.
else, I mean.
Yeah.
And yeah, apparently his clan in the Dragon Kingdom tried to stay neutral to the Acorn Human War,
Mm.
which is pretty dumb because the humans weren't
Yeah.
at war with the Acorns. The Acorns were just the strongest opposition in their war on Mobians.
Right. So
But it's like,
they are
at least the
monkeys.
echidnas are stuck a mile in the sky and they could intentionally ignore it. But that's not what happens here because I guess no matter what their position is, Robotnik shows up and is like, I'm going to use you as test subjects.
Yeah, the ironic thing is even if they allied themselves with the acorns, this probably still would have happened.
Yeah.
You know, call me crazy, but I think this Robotnik dude is not a nice guy.
Really.
You don't say. I didn't notice.
He's not nice, and he's obviously inexperienced too, because he's like, I shall experiment on your entire family, Ken. And then, oh, wait, you succeeded? Ah, yes, you are going to be the jewel of my new army, and obey my every command. And he's like, no.
Yeah. Uh, and then he just like zaps him anyways. It was like, what is even the point? And I know we've seen it before. I gotta say, it's still really weird. Seeing Robotnik with normal eyes. I know we've seen it, but it's like,
We have. It is still very strange.
maybe it's just the way that Strom draws him. There's an Eggman at the end that also looks really weird.
It definitely does, but it's on a screen, so I thought it was just green. I don't know.
He looks like when you look at your reflection in a spoon.
Yeah.
Kinda, yeah.
But yeah, that's our backstory for how Khan ended up the way he was. You could have guessed most of this stuff, honestly.
I'm gonna
The only
be
wrinkle
honest.
is that all his family and friends are dead.
Well, boo.
I don't know. I mean, yes, you're right that it's kind of not anything special, but I don't know.
It is more than nothing.
It's at least unexpected.
I guess.
Initially, but yeah, I suppose the way the plot goes through, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a backup story. They never try with these.
Yeah. Well, let's finish off this little post-adventure trio of issues here with Sonic the Hedgehog number 87, lava.
Yep.
Lots of lava.
Really dark red lava. I think that was
Glowing
something we talked about
really strangely.
with the Knuckles Lost Tribe arc. I don't know what it is with lava in these comics being hard to draw. But yes, it's Heart of the Hedgehog Part 2 Lava Story. That sounds like a play on words, but I don't know if it is. I guess Love Story it's a play on. It's not funny. Same artist and writer duo, Fingeroth and Maxwell. Sonic struggles to reach the top of the mountain with Metal Sonic in hot pursuit. When he finally reaches Tails, an unexpected twist occurs. I didn't know how to make that work without spoiling it.
Well, that works.
Yeah. So Sonic wakes up only to immediately get trapped again. And, we were saying, like, oh, we don't want it to get bored of the making fun of him. At this point, I was like, okay, you can move on with it. It's like, I don't mind him snarking at him, but just keep things moving, please. Don't have it be a net, Have it be, like, spikes or something.
Right.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it is weird that they split it into two issues. Maybe it would have been better if it was only one issue, because they didn't need to really split this story up.
Yeah, I mean, if you had put this as the second half of last issue, I guess you just wouldn't have had anywhere to put the Monkey Con stuff, because that couldn't be its own
Can't have that.
Yeah. I do like that Sonic gets the idea to cheat here, because after fighting Metal Sonic more and seeing another stretched Spaziant drawing in the flashback to Mecha Sonic, that is to say, roboticized Sonic. It's hard to keep track of them all. Sonic grabs a rock and tries to smash the power gem.
And I don't understand how he could possibly get the jump on Metal Sonic. Like, Metal Sonic is ludicrously fast. Like, that shouldn't be possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we say that maybe Metal Sonic is fast because of the engines, right? That means that maybe if you're in a close combat situation, he wouldn't necessarily be the fastest. And since he's facing Sonic, he would only be going toward him. Maybe he can't turn that well. I don't know.
I mean, there's no reason.
To it, then I'm pretty sure the writers did.
Probably.
All they had to do was say something, but no. Either way, Sonic catches him off guard and ties him up with the net that he was trapped in.
Yep.
And the lava's coming down. The volcano's erupting. I'm not sure why it's drawn like cherry Kool-Aid.
Kind of makes me thirsty.
It's either like mud or Kool-Aid, not lava. They don't want to draw lava.
Well, it's like pyroclastic flow, right? That can move at absurdly high speeds, but
It
this is pure
can.
molten rock. So it would need to be like even hotter to move this fast, which means it definitely wouldn't be red.
Hmm.
I don't know.
I think we might be overthinking it again.
Sonic and Tails would burn up just being this close to it, but
Well,
Tails is
yes, of
here,
course we
Sonic is
would.
getting him out of trouble, but they get cut off by Metal Sonic, obviously.
Of course.
Obviously.
You brought a win? No, you can't win. I'm having too much fun.
Metal Sonic shoots laser beams at them out of his chest this time, which is a little odd. Especially since this is not the Metal Sonic with a gaping hole in his chest that the games have.
Well, I mean, you just a direct blast from the power gem. It makes enough sense.
Fair
I
enough.
guess.
Sonic actually tries to appeal to him here, though, because he was saying, you remember how cool it was being roboticized? You should think that I'm awesome. And Sonic's like, listen, I do remember, but it was cool and decided to try and not be a jerk.
The dialogue is a little like they didn't really. This is going in a direction, and I don't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, the ultimate thing is that roboticized people can, with limited capacity, fight their own programming. But Metal Sonic isn't roboticized.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's pretty clear that Metal Sonic has already gone against their programming because they've just gone crazy. I assume because of the power gem, probably.
Okay, so
Um,
do you just think it's unbelievable that Sonic would get through to him?
yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Like, one minute he's like, I enjoy watching you suffer, and then he's like, I'll sacrifice myself for you. What?
Yeah, I think that if Sonic had taken a better line of rhetoric, because if this is a personal beef that Metal has with him and not an
Mhm.
intrinsic sadism in his programming, then I think that if Sonic took the right angle, it would come across a little bit better. But as it stands, he's like, why? He doesn't have an incentive to fight his programming and act good.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
He just kind of decides to so that we can get our Sonic OVA reference.
Oh,
See,
Um,
I almost said that, but it doesn't quite work because in the OVA, Metal Sonic famously doesn't side with Sonic, even at the end when Sonic appeals to them.
I mean, he doesn't choose to be a friend to Sonic, but intentionally slaps him aside. And you were saying back in that review that it was ambiguous. I thought whether he did it because he didn't want Sonic to help him or because he wanted to save him.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I suppose that's true. I kind of forgot how that went down at the end.
Either way, it works better there than it does here. You are correct about that.
Yeah.
Sonic says at the end that it was Tails standing by his side against certain doom that changed Metal's mind, and so I don't know. That doesn't seem like it relates to the fighting the programming thing. So
It's just weird because this just isn't the way I saw this Metal Sonic going at all. I thought it was going to be like, they're so fixated on basically hating Sonic, and they were going to somehow take advantage of that. But no,
yeah, I think if they had made him less cruel from the outset, it probably would have just been better.
yeah, yeah, no, that it would have been more believable then. Yeah,
But I won't let this discount that I do still kind of like this story.
it's an interesting story.
Yeah, I wasn't really bored most of the time, and Metal Sonic's getting to act like a hero at all is an extremely rare occurrence in this series, even compared to other Eggman robots. And Sonic and Tails at least felt in character, and the art
Yeah.
was
sure.
could have been worse. I don't know. It's still weird looking, but it's like it's crazy how many of the panels have like pretty accurate Dreamcast looking Sonics, and then right at the end, like his face is melting and he has weird puffy lips as he's talking about this,
That is such a weird drawing.
and like big bat ears. Um.
Mhm.
So yeah, but either way, definitely the more Sonic proper of the two stories in this issue because hey, look,
Really?
it's Monkey Kong in Against the Haunted Past Part 2 by Frank Strom, and Frank Strom.
Oh,
Khan wakes up to
Yay.
discover a brand new Dr. Robotnik trying to mind control him. He escapes containment and wrecks house, only to find that his actions were in vain.
It's funny. You say a brand new Dr. Robotnik. There's like no mention of the fact that they're like a new Robotnik, I don't think.
Does he not
And,
say, I thought you were dead at some point?
oh well, he definitely says he thought he was dead,
Yeah.
but he kind of just acts like he came back to life or something, because Eggman acts completely as if they're the same as Robotnik. They're like, oh, I was really disappointed that Sally freed you, but then I got nostalgic for how you were my greatest creation, my prodigal son. Like, no, I mean you didn't make him. What are you talking about?
I mean, yeah, that's part of what the weird thing is that the histories of these universes are entirely the same up to a specific point.
You're saying there's a Monkey Con in the Cyborg Sonic universe?
I feel like that would have to be the case.
Hmm.
I mean, I assume so.
I guess I hadn't thought about that. I suppose maybe that explains it. I thought it was, well, two things. One, the writers didn't care enough, and so they were just like, ah, it's just Robotnik. Or the second possibility is I thought that Robo Robotnik basically downloaded the data files and kind of assimilated it into their own being, and so they're basically acting like what Robotnik did was what they did.
Yeah, well, I mean, we never see much of Robo Robotnik's universe as it is, so I always assumed that up to a certain point in the first Robotnik war, things were basically the exact same. It is fuzzy, so I guess you could kind of say either way. The ultimate answer would just be to just not write it like this, but
Yeah,
anyway. So Khan's waking up. They're gonna try to control him, but his ring crown thing protects him.
right.
He escapes, and his hometown has been converted into a roboticization plant. We've been in adventure territory so long that I kind of forgot Robians were a thing that was even happening. They haven't been in any of these issues.
Oh yeah.
It's true, it's been a little bit.
But Khan destroys the plant, but discovers that everyone in town has already been taken. So that's it, I guess. I don't have anything else.
There's SWAT bots too. Hadn't seen them for a little bit.
Yeah, I guess we've seen some shadow bots. Are these shadow bots?
I don't know actually. It's kind of, you can never know with the way these colors are so inconsistent.
Yeah.
Well, and this is part of the problem because SWAT bots in the early Archie comics are white and gray, and SWAT bots
Right.
in the Sad AM pilot are white and gray. SWAT bots in
Right.
the entirety of the Sad AM show, aside from the pilot, are black, but shadow bots are also black.
Oops.
True.
Or deep blue evoking black,
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the Monkey Con story. I do not find Frank Strom's writing or art interesting at all, and I don't care about Monkey Con.
I kind of like the
yeah.
ending where
The ending
Monkey
is
Kong blows up
interesting.
everything, and then he's like, "Ha, take that, Eggman," and then Eggman's like, "Good job. There, everything's burning. Have fun." Like that. Yeah, that's a good comeback.
It's a bittersweet note, or actually, I guess just an unhappy note. There's nothing good about it.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
a bitter note.
Well, that's a bitter note to end on. There's nothing to latch on to. Anyway, that's our comics for today. I think that this episode was better than the last one. I think that there was so much.
Yeah.
They were held so hard to Sonic Adventure last time that there was not a lot to talk about. I don't know. I just like this week's issues better.
I don't
They
know.
were decent enough.
I think that this writing team is at its strongest when they can just kind of run with some pieces of the games, because
Yeah.
other than the Monkey Con stuff, I don't feel that anything here was super out of place. So that's just okay. Well, I guess the cat people and echidnas, but that's Penders. That's always like that. I don't know. My point is that I like that these 3 issues use the Sonic robots to some extent.
That's true.
It's a little mini arc. But next time we will be returning to Knothole Village. We will be seeing some very strange issues with some new stuff. But that's gonna be it for tonight. I'm stammering all over myself, but that's fine. Thank you guys so much for being here, and thank you to our viewers for watching. If you have any feedback, criticism, comments, praise, feel free to like, share, subscribe, and contact us in the link tree. I said all of that in the wrong order, but that's all right
It's
because
fine.
yeah, we're done for today. So I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all have a great night. I hope you all have a great rest of your week, and take care.